Hey there, Darkstar here. I wanted to make an updated video showing my current control configurations for the Honeycomb Bravo and the way I'm running it on most planes now is so first of all, I shifted around so I have a speed brake axis. So my very first axis is going to be spoiler, okay, and that is not inverted. The spoiler lever is up when the spoilers are retracted, and I pull it down to deploy them, kind of like you might with flaps. My next lever is throttle, and I'm using the commercial throttle on that one, which has the takeoff go around button, and it also has the little pull lever on the top, which is button 9. Oops. Let's go button 9. And that's going to be on again on my second axis, right? So that's going to be hold throttle reverse thrust. And I'll show the action that happens on these in a minute. The other thing you can do on that axis is drop it down past the detent, which pushes another button, which is going to be button 25. I almost upgraded to SU3 just so I could get through this faster. That's going to be set to decrease throttle. So between that being decreased throttle and the other one being hold reverse, it works on like 99% of the planes to do reverse thrust either direction. Pulling the little lever up lets me push my throttle forward and have fine-grained control over reverse. Or I can drop it down and it'll just kind of go max reverse thrust. My next axis is going to be propeller axis. And for the detent on that one, I have mapped to toggle feather switches, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I do this is for the ATR. And I'll show that in a bit. The next axis right now is unused. I haven't figured out what to use that for. It currently has a GA blue prop RPM lever on it, but I haven't figured out what I want to use it for. Because I've kind of gone to single axis for all controls because it's too hard to put like 2 throttles and keep them side by side. I don't often use differential thrust. If I wanted to, like, say, have a setup where I was testing, like in a twin-engine plane, maybe testing a single-engine failure, I might create a separate setup that lets me feather one side or the other. But I don't generally do that. So okay, so the next one is a combo condition lever axis and mixture 0 to 100. And the detent trigger on that one is condition lever cutoff. So that's that one. And then again, the last axis on the Bravo is unused and also no detent, although I could map those to those unused ones to something. I wanted to map them to cowl flaps, doesn't exist as an axis, and I wanted to map them to carb heat, which also doesn't exist as an axis. So you're kind of out of luck there. Anyway, that's my axis configuration, except the trim wheel also. Let's look at that one. Trim down and trim up on the little trim wheel axis. It is actually button activations, not an axis, unfortunately. Then the autopilot I've left set up pretty much the way they have it. And the 7 toggle buttons above the levers, I pretty much don't use, but one thing I did on all of them, so like if we look at this one, I unmapped it. This is the down position for all of them. Now that one's still on. That should not be there actually. Yeah, and that shouldn't be that. We want that one to be just a toggle. And when it does this and this, it's going to come up with just the list like this, but you can click here and it'll going to instantly come up. So what I actually want this one to be is the toggle. And what I really like to do is set it to set control on release so that I remember to toggle it back down. Huh? All right, let's look at this next one. 41, nothing. 43, nothing. 45, nothing. 47, nothing. So that is the down position on all the toggle switches. I completely unmapped them basically. In this profile, I guess I missed the pitot one. And if you look at the up position, toggle arms, spoilers, and again we want it set control on release. I'm verifying my profile as I go through here. This one is APU stuff. It has one where it starts it, so you move it up, and that's going to trigger, this one is going to be normal, so set control on press. So when you flip it up, it's going to start the APU starter. And then when you flip it down on release, you can map that to other actions like set APU bleed to engine. You could turn on generators or whatever else you wanted to there. Okay, and now we just did the pitot ones. That should be there. Cabin lights. And let's make sure that's on release. I see I'm missing some of these. Toggle anti-ice on release. Toggle headphones simulation on release. And again, that just helps me remember to put it down. Toggle tail wheel lock on release. Okay. So that's how I have those set up. And the reason is that when the switches are all in the down position, they're not activating anything. So it's not constantly sending signals that it's pushing that button. And if the switch is in the wrong position, it won't trigger anything either, except that APU one. But I generally leave those all down. And I almost never use any of those switches because they're too hard to get to with the levers up. Like, they're just hard to reach. I wish they were on the top of that little panel and like as a push button instead of these toggle switches that are harder to reach. But we can wish for a lot of things. We don't get them. And then I do use the gear. So gear up and then gear down. Those are just buttons. Activate like normal. Now, unfortunately, that one is always pushing a button. I could make it be toggle gear, but I haven't done that yet. And then the flaps I don't actually use because it's a little harder for me to reach, but they are there. Decrease flaps, increase flaps. So just that lever is a little hard for me to reach. So that's how I have the Bravo set up anyway. And now let's go look at it in plane. So for starters, I have a third-party plane here, the Kodiak 100. I generally had problems getting this all working at first. But now, so speed brake does nothing. Here's my normal throttle, stops at idle. If I pull that lever up, I can then slowly go into beta reverse, right? So that's if I pull the lever up and then push my throttle forward like this, but it actually, I pull the lever up and it pushes it back instead. Took a little getting used to, but it's not too bad. Now if I drop it down past the detent, it will lock for a minute and then drop all the way back. The nice thing about that is you don't have to pull that lever, you just slam the throttle down and you go into reverse thrust. Alright, prop RPM. So this one I go down, 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 down. That is all the way back to the detent. And then if I go past the detent, it does nothing. Okay. Well, that's not working right now. I think I need to move that over from the other profile. There is a detent setting on that will allow it to move the prop all the way back to feathered. I'll have to go work on that one. Condition lever goes back to all the way off. That is not down past the detent in this plane. It just automatically goes off. And then, so there you go. So in this plane, you just have to kind of be careful to keep your mixture / condition lever up a little bit so that it only goes to low idle. Alright, I'm going to use the aircraft selector here to go to a few different aircraft. We can take a look at the different behaviors there. Again, I'll have to come back and work on prop RPM, but I did have that working. Basically, on that button press, you have it. I don't remember what you have to do in this plane to make it work, but it is doable. And I could always use that second condition lever as an alternative one if I needed to, if I need to have different actions on two planes, since I have two levers, but I'm only using one. Okay, let's try like a longitude. So here we have the speed brake as my first axis. That works like normal. So normally when I come in and I land, I would pull the speed brake back and then either drop the throttle back, which is going to do that. And then it takes this plane a minute for some reason to get back there, but it did do it. Okay. Or we can pull that lever up, which you see activate right there, right? You can see these things activate. And then as I slide forward, it kind of, this plane's a little glitchy. It'll lock up for a minute, but then it kind of works. So you kind of have to jiggle the lever up as you go, and it'll work. So there's normal throttle, pull the lever, push forward. There we go. So in this plane, I think pulling all the way back works best, and let it, there it goes. A little slow. Okay, and no prop or mixture in this plane. Let's try, what is it, a CJ4? I spent some hours yesterday making sure all of these planes were on the basic profile, switching them off the other profiles I had set up. So there's our spoiler, normal throttle, and this one doesn't have reverse, right? So if you go into reverse, the throttle lever won't work. Why is it rocking back and forth? Okay. Uh-oh. Now it's gone into this mode where I can't do anything again. What has it done? Oh, there's an SDK update available. That's good. So unfortunately now I'm stuck because I cannot, because it's locked into the window. I can do this, I guess, for a minute. Back over here so I can use it. This game is so buggy. Let's see, what's another one? Well, I got 737. And let's just check in on our option settings. Controls, Bravo. Okay, still on basic plane. Alright, so here's our speed brake. And in this plane, the animation in here is broken. But if you go outside, you can see it deploying the speed brakes. I think there's a couple planes where the animations inside the plane are broken, but it does work. Normal throttle. Pull the lever up, slow reverse. It's a little fast. You can kind of see that it has multiple positions. Kind of buggy in this plane. Normal throttle again. Drop the lever back and it goes to full reverse. Pull the lever out and it goes back to normal. 747. We'll go 8I. Okay. Spoiler. Animation works. Normal throttle. Lever up. Slowly move it forward, and in this plane the spoilers deploy automatically. Okay. And then back to normal. Drop it down. Automatically goes full max. Takes it a minute or a few seconds. A3 something Neo maybe? To load in here. There. Spoilers, those are working. Let's check outside. Yeah. Alright, normal throttle. Pull the lever up. Reverse, nice and smooth. Drop it down to the back, and it automatically goes to full reverse. And back out. Okay. I don't know why, but my headset just shut itself off. It's at 90% battery. Okay, let's go look at ATR. Let's go to my Summit Air version. Okay. So okay, so we're on basic plane here. So we're in the ATR. It crashed, so I started over, but we're roughly back where we were. So I'm in the 42600S this time. Whatever. So throttles working like normal. drop it down, it pulls back, push it back up, pull the lever up, you can see it kind of start slow. Now I have some control over where it is, so I can slowly push it forward to full reverse or not. And then the way that the binding ends up working on the ATR for prop pitch, it kind of acts as this pseudo condition prop behavior lever. So you would normally fly in this setting, which would be auto, and then it would be controlled by the power management dial here, whether you're in takeoff power, max continuous thrust, climb, or cruise power, right? You can pull the back to feather if you're slow and careful here. There's feather, right? And if I pull this, my blue lever all the way back, it stays there, right? It doesn't cut to shut off. That's why we have the levers on the, when they activate past the detent, they go to feather, which actually does fuel shut off and shuts down the engines. Right. I don't know why they mapped it that way, but that's the way they have it in the ATR. And I wouldn't, I haven't used that in any other planes. I don't know that you would really ever want to feather everything, but yeah, so toggle feather switch 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll switch that. Then you'd have to do it again, or you can map a release toggle. But either way, you're going to be toggling it on and off, not doesn't have a hold version, right? So let's see, feather switch, and also I tried just feather like this one, and that doesn't work. You have to tie it to 1 and 2. You could potentially do them independently. It's like we could, you know, you could take this one off and you could put it on this one, so that way you can toggle feather independently between the two. But I kind of prefer it the other way, where I just do everything at once. So I'll put it back on this one. I guess there's no reason you couldn't have this one as an independent toggle feather on switch 2. But when you do this side, it's going to do all of them. So I'm going to go like that. And that's kind of a weird setting for the ATR. But the normal, you know, reverse and everything just works. Right, reverse, or pull the tab and go fine grained reverse. And then we can pop these out of feather. So you don't have to like re-toggle it. As you push forward, it's going to automatically come out of shut off. Oh, are they starting? That's pretty wild. Huh, okay. Neat. Okay, so let's see, are there any others that would be worth doing? I mean, I think it works on everything. Let's do a few of the Pilatus. So let's do a PC-24. I'll do VIP. So this one doesn't have reverse. So of course you have the speed brake with the animation is broken inside, or as they call it here, the air brake. So if we go outside, we can see it deploying. So that works like normal. And there's no reverse, so there's nothing to reverse. So you're pretty much done with that one. So the same profile is working for all of these different aircraft. PC-24. It doesn't have spoilers, but that's okay. So normal throttle, pull the lever, find reverse, release the lever, and just drop it down all the way to the back, and it goes to reverse. So that's working. And then we have the PC6 in 2 different versions. This is the one that comes with the game. I have another porter, but it works as well. Okay, so normal throttle, pull the lever, find beta and reverse, drop it back, and it'll pull all the way back like that. I think there's King Air C90.
Minimums.
Okay. So this has a reverse thrust, so no speed breaker spoilers, but so normal throttle, pull the tab, and it kind of clicks back from like here to here,
Pause system test.
And then gives you finer, well, I did it the wrong way. Yeah, fine grain reverse there, or drop it back and all the way back, and then when you pop out, it comes here. So that's just pulling it back for full reverse. This is working. Feather doesn't work in this. I don't know what it wants for feather. Condition lever, yeah, sort of working, but it goes all the way to fuel cutoff. I wish they were a little more consistent in some of their settings, but or at least settings behaviors. I mean, that's a pretty good variety of reversers, right? I don't think that there's anything in the G58. Let's see. Yeah. There's no reverser in that. Did we do the 408 yet? So as I've been going through this, I've been taking notes of which planes have reverse thrust. Oh, I know one, a couple more to cover here. Okay, so this has reverse, so normal, lever up, fine-grained reverse, lever down, pull the throttle back, drops all the way back. And then there's the Saab, right? Not that one, the 340.
Minimums.
Now why is this one not working all of a sudden? I think when you switch planes too much, it maybe loses its little mind. We're in basic, right? Basic only has one axis. Why are they split? Let's double check. Oh, we're not. We're in simple reverser. Okay, there we go. That's why That's why it was split. Okay, now we're back to basic plane. Okay, there's idle. So normal throttle. Pull the lever up. More fine grain. Reverse. Beta and reverse. Normal throttle. Drop it back. Okay. Now, on this plane, I could not get these to work at all. They don't work on prop. They don't work on mixture. They don't work on condition. They're tied to their own axis or something. So as best I could tell, you have to do these by hand or with mouse clicks. But generally, I've only ever used like start and either this setting or like 3 ticks back for max. 1, 2, 3, like that. But reversers work. Again, same settings. Alright, there's the 930. Okay. Normal. Pull the lever up. Fine grained reverse. And normal and drop it back. Reverse. So that one's working. Twin Otter. Let's do wheels. Right. So there's normal throttle. Pull the lever up. Reverse. And drop it back. It's a little sluggish, but that'll get you stopped. No spoilers on this plane, obviously. And then, again, it won't drop into feather for some reason on this one. I think what you would need is another axis. Let's see if we can just do that. Maybe it's worth doing. It might mess with things, but we'll give it a shot. We're going to do a couple other planes, so we'll see if it causes a problem. But what I'm thinking is, I think there's no. It's a mixture axis. I don't think there's a propeller axis for it. One that goes like minus 100 to 100. Yeah, it doesn't seem to. But I guess what we could do, let's try decrease propeller pitch. So I'm going to put that on my unused propeller axis as the past the detent button. And just see what happens. Okay, so drop that one back. And it's still not pulling it back into feather. We could try hold propeller reverse thrust. Oops. Hold propeller reverse thrust. And then I don't know if you would go high. And let's get rid of that mapping for now. That's not doing it either. Unfortunately, some of these corner cases are a little harder to figure out. I think there's some tools that might do it, but I don't have them. So let's see what we have here. Yeah. That's not doing it. Let's get rid of that for a moment. And that one. I don't know what else it would be. But again, not something I use very often. Oh, that did it, actually. Something did it. But now it's stuck forever. And then let's see, the fuel just goes straight to off. It doesn't seem to have any in between. Got off or on there. Okay, but reverse thrust works. Let's try the C17. That's the other one. Alright. Now, I don't think this plane has spoilers. I mean, spoiler access is pretty... Oh, it does. There we go. I don't know where they are in the plane. I don't see anything moving there. I've barely flown this plane, so I don't know. But, okay. Throttles. Normal. Pull the lever up. Fine grained. Normal again, and then pull it back. And it automatically drops all the way down. So, it's working in pretty much all of the planes, at least for basic reverse.